There we go. Yeah. We get a lot of technical interference. I'm glad it's recording. Um, Let me know if I freeze because this has been weird. So, oh, hey guys, welcome. Welcome to another episode of Galactic Explorers, the podcast where we take you on a joyride through the earthly, spiritual, or everyday topic explored with that galactic, multidimensional perspective. Today, we have a special treat for you. You've got me, Daniella, here with you, and Miss Dallas is on holiday with her family. So, filling in for her today, we have one of our favorite guests, Miss Lavette, our sexual healing, trauma, sexual, what is it, like body awareness, self-love. We've
Look,
already started
the thing.
all the things, but she is our self-love, body healing, trauma expert that we love and love to have on here. So she's filling in for Miss Dallas today. And we are bringing something a little different to you today. It is entitled Higher Messages, maybe Higher Perspectives. And it is our holiday special. And
Oh, I should have got my ears. You
you
didn't.
can you want to go get your ears
Oh,
while I tell everybody what it's about?
Oh, wait a second.
Go get your ears. I don't have ears. I think I have antlers packed away somewhere. God only knows. But we're doing a little bit of a higher perspectives today, and because the idea is that yes, there you go. The idea is that everything can serve a dual purpose, and that there are many different traditions that actually use things like alcoholic type beverages or herbal mother medicine to reach higher dimensional awarenesses. So for funsies,
Funsies.
we're doing a kind of drunk as fuck suck
Is it?
in the spirit kind of the Dan Cummins time suck, where occasionally he will get on there with himself or somebody and just be drinking a bottle of whatever he's drinking the whole entire way and talking about topics, and it just gets really interesting as he's trying to explain himself the further he goes into it. So in the
Oh, so this
spirit of
is
that,
gonna be
Merry
good.
Christmas, everybody. Have a good time. Life is for living. Enjoy.
Yes.
Basically, the idea is that you enjoy life. You're spiritual, anyways. You can't not be spiritual
True.
because you are, in fact, in spirit right now, having a dream that you're in the physical, more or less. There's a lot of ways to explain that. But
Yes.
anyway, so enjoy the insanity. I hope you stick around with us for it. We're actually doing viewer questions today, and we're going to be answering them and going from there. So there will be some good information, but we are going to be a little bit in an altered state of consciousness, if you will say. So welcome to Galactic Explorers, our higher perspectives, higher messages, Christmas special, or holiday special, if you will.
Just yes, like I was over here like fixing my ears.
I know, you're so cute.
Dude, as soon as she said holiday special, I was like, "Hey!" So, but yes.
I got my little Santa hat. Actually, it's Frank's Santa hat.
See, look. But that means your background is festive as fuck.
We're good to go. My tree is right there, but it's also got a lot of boxes and bags and packages in front of it because wonderfully people have sent us stuff, our friends and family, but it's direct from wherever they sent it, so it's in the box and not wrapped, right? So we can't open it, but it's in the box, right? So, but yes, our Christmas tree is right there. So we're festive. We got the lights out. Anyway, cheers. Cheers
Cheers.
to living life and being spiritual because you can.
Absolutely. Look, let's go ahead and turn that
I
around.
know. Yes. What is your things to do? Drink wine, talk trash.
Cheers.
Clink. Absolutely. Okay, so let's see. Let me pull up the viewer questions here.
Viewer questions. I'm excited about these questions.
I know, me too. Welcome to my living room, by the way, everybody. If you haven't been in here with us before, welcome to my living room, my sanctum sanctorum.
I love it. Love it.
Okay, so the first one that we have is if you can feel someone's anxiety, so essentially empathic, if you can feel someone's anxiety, how do you know if it's yours or if it's theirs that's bothering you?
I
What do
really
you
like
think?
this question
What do you say?
because I've actually had this happen to me on multiple occasions.
Oh, of course, yeah, sure, we all have, I think.
So sometimes when I start interacting with certain people more, just like off, like we haven't talked in a couple of months, and then all of a sudden, like boom, we're talking every day for like a week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Um, or if I'm just hanging out with people regularly, I'll start to like feel them.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Of course, if it's a every once in a while thing, then like it'll stay for a couple of days and then it'll go.
Right.
Um,
Definitely the more you're in somebody's pocket, more or less, would you say?
Yeah.
That's like the more you influence one another. Because
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So what'll end up happening is I start picking up on their emotions
Mm-hmm.
or their anxiety or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah, it's whoever you live with too, whoever you work with, right?
Mhm.
Potentially.
Absolutely. You're anybody who you're within that energy. And what'll happen is the first thing I do is I assess myself.
Mm.
Like, is there anything going on in my life that would make me anxious? Am I getting a new job? Am I thinking about quitting my job? Am I going to go ask for a raise? You know, we're in a pandemic. Like, when's my next thing going to be? You know, when's that shoe going to drop? I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there who are like, when's that shoe going to drop? But
yeah, no more shoes. No more shoes.
right?
If everybody just went no more shoes, right? I think we could manage it. But anyway, go ahead. I digress.
So look at all of those feelings and what you have towards them,
Mm-hmm.
which is what I do, and say, okay, yes, I'm anxious about this. No, I'm not anxious about this. Whatever your answer ends up being, like, does your body ever give you like a not right now, but maybe later kind of response? Like when you're like, is this mine? You're like, where? No, that's not us today. Like, right. It'll be there in a couple days, but not today. Because I was like, there's not really a middle ground to that, a yes or a no, but it's that. It's the
Yeah, because sometimes it is both.
Yeah. So
sometimes it is both.
Sometimes. So then I check myself and I'm like, okay, am I good? Where am I not good? And then what I do is I send out a message to people who have been in my space over the last at least like 3 or 4 days. And when one of them hits me back and says, yes, it was me, or they start to talk to me about the situation.
Or it's like, do you ask them if they're feeling anxious, or it's like how they're doing, or like how do you do that?
So what I do, because it's just general. So I'll give you an example. Months ago, me and my sister started talking more. And one day I got her anxiety. And I had it from the night before until almost 5 o'clock the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So it was almost 24 hours that I was feeling this energy. Right. And what I do is I just send out a text message like, are you guys all right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can take that any way other than nothing's really going on in my life or whatever. That really kind of mixes up like, are you doing all right?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of makes people stop and question, like, wait a second, like,
am I? Yeah.
Right. What do you know? What is going, whatever. So I sent it to Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
I had also sent it to my sisters and mom, and we're all in a group text. So I just sent it to them. Anthony said, no, I'm good. What's going on? So then I had to explain to him the woo-woo.
Yeah, right.
He was like, okay. And then everybody, like just about everybody in my sibling group, and we'll say my family group, female family group, they were all saying how fine they were. And then my sister sent me a message because somebody had said, why, what's going on? I think it was my mom. And I was like, I said, I'm feeling anxiety and I know it's not mine. I said, so I'm trying to check it. Where in the atmosphere is it? Mm-hmm. And Chautauqua, my sister, look, I didn't even mean to say her name, but there you go.
Chautauqua. The names, girl.
She texted me and she was like, that was me. She was like, I've been going through some stuff and, you know, kind of just like worrying about a conversation that I need to have, whatever. And she's like, I was like, well, when have you been feeling this since? And she said, last night. And I was like, you.
Okay.
Because I couldn't sleep. I was up like something is going on, but I don't know who it is because it wasn't me. So once she told me what it was and we talked about it, then it subsided. Then it was like, all right, we released this anxiety. Now my sister may have still felt the anxiety, but I didn't anymore. So it was more of a, ooh, we found the magnet. All right, let's get that out of here. I feel like that's how my body reacted. It was like, all right, you're good. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, back to you.
Right. What about you? Do you kind of have like the same process, or is it a little different for you?
It's a little bit different for me. It's similar but different in the sense that I'll all of a sudden feel super anxious, and not know why. And you do a little bit of a check-in and you go, okay. I actually just straight up kind of ask my body. I say, hey, tell me the truth. Is this actually have anything to do with me and what's going on with my life? And usually a resounding thought / feeling will come through, and it's both for me. And I want to, at least for people looking for it, to emphasize the idea of the feeling aspect, because sometimes our brain will say something, but it's not, necessarily. So it's how you feel, really. So if they match up, then you're like, oh, really get a really big answer. And yeah, if it says no, it's like, it'll be like, no. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then kind of like you said, in knowing that it isn't mine, I go, oh, okay. And it sort of self-releases. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I still feel it like niggling in the background.
Okay.
If there's particularly a lot of it. There was a few times during this year where the mass consciousness was going, and it bled through my bubble.
Okay.
So I, just woke up in the morning and just started crying and freaking out. And I'm sitting here going, what is this?
Right.
And then, I'll go, oh, okay. You gain kind of enough consciousness over your own freaking out brain to go, wait, is this mine? Does this even belong to me? Does this have anything to do with me or my life or what's going on in my reality? And in that instance, I got a really big fat no. It's like, this is like you basically feeling the aura around you. Okay, cool. So it's so much easier to release it then. It's so, if you can feel someone's anxiety, the way to know if it's yours or theirs is really to do that self-assessment in some form or fashion.
Oh yeah. Your body will let you know.
Yeah. Because then the key is, then once you've done that self-assessment, you can either take action to alleviate it in some way, or then realize that it has nothing to do with you and go, oh, well, it has nothing to do with me, so I don't have to think about it. It's like, why am I carrying it around? It has nothing to do with me. Right. You can let that go. And anytime it comes up niggling, you'd be like, well, it has nothing to do with me. So
that's the one that I need to learn how to do if I can. And the funny thing is, with this particular situation, I did try to release it. Like, I sat back, I meditated. I was like, okay, I needed to ground myself. I was like, what is happening? Yeah, it was not going away. Like, so for that situation, I really did have to go and okay, which one of you guys is it?
Well, I think in that particular case, me knowing a little bit, about you and your background and your family, is that your family is pretty open to a lot of the woo-woo ideas, more so than probably a lot of our viewer base's families.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we've had this conversation, I think, where we have that difference in our upbringing, where it's like parts of my family were more open to it, and parts weren't. And then you had like a total open situation where you had people that were less affected by traumatic experiences than I did,
Mm-hmm.
and how that filtered down through what we got taught and how we got right. Like we've had all
Yeah.
these conversations.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right. So, but it's interesting to see how there's that link then. Because you have that link, you may not have been able to let it go because you are more linked up with that particular. I mean, it's your sister.
Right. That's true.
It's not like it's somebody from work that you can't really reach out to,
Mm-hmm.
or can't really touch base with, you know, or
Right.
something like that, where it's like you're feeling like somebody's, you know, really whatever that's happening with them. So to be able to go, is this even mine? Doesn't even matter whose it is.
Right.
A lot of times it doesn't matter. I don't even need to know.
It doesn't. The first,
it's like, is this even mine?
It's so funny because even with people like us, where we can like feel like how we're feeling, like usually we're a little more self-aware of how we're feeling in a moment.
Yeah.
So when something
just
like
takes
that
practice of asking yourself, really, because
right.
that's the key. Just really quick before you go, that's the key, is just to ask yourself often.
Mm-hmm.
Is the practice of it. And then it becomes more second nature.
Right. So then when you do feel something, you can probably,
it's so much easier to deal with.
Like, oh, this is not mine.
Yeah. So sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I don't remember what I was saying.
Sorry. It's like if we're trying to get info out there that would help people.
No, right.
Right.
Yeah. But no, you're right. It probably was along that line. You really just want to make sure that you know, like for sure, or at least ask your body for that check. Like, what is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Because then you can kind of like you said, if it had been anybody else, I probably would have been able to release the energy. But you know, that girl.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, because you have stronger ties, like literal energetic ties to your sister than you would to a coworker.
This is true.
Just based off of like pure base level, you know, not extraneous circumstances, not the exception to the rule, but just in general.
Mm-hmm.
In general, people are going to be more energetically tied to people in their family than they would to a coworker. Right? So it's going to be more entanglement to deal with for sure. So if you can reach out to them and figure out at least who it was, maybe not necessarily have to help them deal with it, but to figure out who it was, you know, would be helpful for somebody.
For sure. I mean, I just listened to her and I was just like, hey, like, here's a little piece of advice. And then it was done. And I was like, oh,
okay, good. Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I feel better about this. Like, I felt better all over because I was just like,
yeah,
it was bad. It was all bad. That was a very interesting day of work, Daniella.
Yeah, right.
Very interesting day of work.
Speaking of which, the next one actually kind of leads into it. Another question from our viewers is, how do you stay calm when someone or something triggers you?
Yeah.
So when you get that feeling and you get triggered or you get offended, one of your belief systems gets bumped up against, one of your expectations or boundaries gets bumped up against. Like when somebody triggers you, how do you stay calm?
That is a very interesting question because sometimes that does not happen.
I know, it's an interesting question for you.
We're just gonna be real with everyone right now.
Super feisty. You're even feistier than me, I swear. I thought I was feisty.
A little bit, just
a little bit.
A little bit.
It's okay.
Yeah, like let's just be real. It is kind of hard sometimes, depending on the situation, depending on the boundary, the belief, whatever it is.
Absolutely. It is an exercise. Yeah.
For sure. So the first thing I personally do is I like take a breath first because I'm like, let me, and it's almost as if you're sucking in to like tell them off, but you're just like, no. Let's just do one good.
Right? Yeah, I do the same thing. Yeah, anything, anything. Take a breath. Yeah, that's my
Take a breath first.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, sometimes, look, this probably is not spiritual as fuck, but this is the first thing that I do. I'm like,
look, it's real life. This is what happened. That is spiritual as fuck.
Worth the argument? Is this worth the fight that's about to happen?
Yeah, like, picking your battles, totally.
Right, that's usually what. One of my friends told me that once. She was like, you know what? Being married, she was like, you know what? She said, I choose my battles. And I took that ever since, like, oh, That's with all relationships. You gotta choose it. So are you gonna go for it? It's usually like the second thought. And trust me, it's funny. We're talking about this, and I feel like people are like, these things just happen like, oh, one thing and then another and then another. Like it takes a couple minutes. Like, no, this is all within split seconds of it happening.
Yeah.
This is all as soon as the anxiety hits, whose is this? What's going on? Let's try to release it. Let's go ahead and find out.
Right, because the faster you can recognize it and the faster you can do that process with yourself, the sooner it'll get to be basically muscle memory, spiritual, energetic muscle memory.
Right.
And the smoother everything goes with all your interactions with everybody.
Yeah. Like, don't think that this shit just like, it's a process. It is. Yeah. Like sometimes the things come and some of them are automatic. So we breathe. We assess whether or not we want to get into this fight. We gonna do that? Yes, no? Okay. And then what I do is I kind of just, me personally, I sit back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually one of those, like, I'm an extrovert, but I like to like scope out things before I go be extroverted.
Yeah. I've learned to do that also. Yes.
You come in, you scale the room and you're like, okay, I see some people that might be my people. I see some people that definitely not gonna, like, you assess. Right?
Yep.
And then you go in.
Yeah.
That's basically how I do this. So
this is why we get along, because we have the same approach to this. I think this is
there's definitely a similarity between the both of us. And when it comes down to like, I feel like when it comes to our temperament, they're kind of the same, because we're super. Let's just get it real. We're feisty. I am a little more feisty, but you definitely have your spice, right?
I hold a lot of mine back. For the sake of everybody involved.
Aw, look.
It's okay. No, it's all good. Because it's like, at some point, to some degree, the automatic knee-jerk aspect of it does not serve me, like you said. So it's like been an experience in practice and learning as to when to utilize that kick as a gift, as a tool, rather than it just kind of auto firing all the time, which is interesting because it does kind of dovetail into kind of what you're talking about, where you take a second and you take a breath and you self-assess and you're like, do I want to be really big here? Mm-hmm. Do I need to be?
Right.
Or can I use that energy elsewhere somehow?
Exactly.
And that is, a very similar approach to how when something triggers me, I roll through that process. And basically, just like you said, where you take a breath, and it's all in a split second, you take a breath, you self-assess, it's like, do I really need to get mad about this?
Mm-hmm.
Is this, I actually asked, it's like, is this just my ego, or is this something that actually is bothering me?
Right. That's the big one, though.
About a preference that I have about how I want to live.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's pushing up against the walls and the boundaries, girl.
Right. Simple things too, where it's like dishes in the sink, man. It breaks down into all kind of places, but it's like dishes in the sink, or how, where you leave your laundry around the house. It's like, what kind of environment do I personally want to live in? What lifestyle do I want to live?
Right.
It's like, what level of comfort versus, it's like, all kinds of factors when you get mad about anything.
True.
It's like, is this something that's bumping up against your ego? Or is this something that's actually bumping up against a personal preference of a boundary of how you want to live, or how you want to, even to respect, self-respect. All kinds of areas that it goes into.
Right.
So, you see if it's you, for real you.
Right.
Or if it's ego you, just like getting its pride hurt and getting butthurt about, a perceived slight or some kind of, whatever, when it really has nothing to do with you and it's just that person going through some fucking shit or whatever. Because you never know what the other person's going through internally. You have no idea what kind of mental fight people may be under.
Daniella, first of all.
What?
I'm going to say something really quick.
What?
You are speaking to my whole life right now. Stop it. You are picking up on my energy over here, and I don't like it. Take that off the camera, lady. I was like, wait a minute. I feel like spirit, like, look, everybody over here is like, okay, can you please let her know this? Because seriously, like, it's not that big of a deal. I literally feel like that. Like, as you were talking, I was like, these are literally how our conversations go. And still, till this day, we will both sit up here and be like, do you have cameras in my house? Have you been watching me? Because you literally spoke to my whole situation last week. Literally. I'm like, wait a minute.
Well, here's the thing, is that is the macrocosm of the microcosm that everybody's fucking going through right now. So it's like, I've even noticed right now, actually, as of the taping of this recording, which is not too far ahead of when it'll be released, is that this past week, I have actually been super argumentative with Frank. No reason. Wow. And it just like is an autopilot thing that's popping out. And then, it actually comes out of my mouth. It leaps out before I even get a chance to actually assess it. And I'm like, whoa, it's like, because I'm not used to it actually leaping out like that anymore without me getting a chance to run it through my, test.
Right.
To see if I even need to say that shit, right? Like, do I need to go with that? That's like my ego talking. So anyway, yeah, it's been interesting, but it's a reflection. It's so you can kind of tell almost what the energy of what's going on in the collective, and what the majority of people are coming up against as far as things that they're trying to test themselves with spiritually, to see what choices they'll make about it. Where are they? What choices will you make? How will you react to it? How will you respond? Will you respond? Will you even react? Self-assessment. Like, this is like a big time for that on the individual level, and that's being reflected out in the mass consciousness.
Yeah.
And so for people like us that are sensitive to it, over here living our own lives on our own timelines and shit, light workers doing our thing, like we have a tap line to whatever the mainstream consciousness is. And sometimes it comes in and we don't read it as that. We read it as ours and we play it out. And then by the time we played it out, we go, oh.
That wasn't for me. That was not mine. That's not good.
That is not mine. Okay, cool. Well, we can just stop doing that.
Right?
No, thank you. So I guess that would answer that question, hopefully, in a way. It's like how you stay calm is, to take a breath, do your best to assess whether it is, your ego, that protective personality, like your belief systems that are being bumped up against, versus your actual true self of preferences of how you want to live.
Right.
Things like that, in that kind of way. Let's see, where are we on time?
I don't know. I feel like we've been talking for a very long time.
I know. And okay, we've got like 10 minutes left.
Oh, okay. Look,
we can get through at least one more.
Yeah.
Oh, this will be a good one for you, girl.
Oh.
Okay. How do I raise my confidence with my partner? I've done a lot of clearing work around past trauma, but I'm still very body shy. Any advice?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I was like, ooh, this has got Tay written all over it.
You have advice. Because I'm like, how do I want to word this? Because you think about, this is probably the beginning of this person's journey. Like, this is like probably the beginning, right? So one thing that I did, like when I first had my issues with like personal trauma, confidence, but being body shy, that was a big one.
Yeah, I still work with that one.
And you know what? And I still do every once in a while because listen, yes, we, look, tangent. We do this thing where we're like super, like, doesn't matter what your size is, color, whatever. Like you go into this like whole body shaming shit. And you're just
sure.
I don't like this about myself. I don't like that about myself, blah, 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 blah. Right? Probably look the same as if you've gone through a trauma. That's basically how that feels. That is literally how that feels. And you need to do something. So, like at the beginning of being body shy, honestly, I was a teenager. And I probably didn't feel comfortable in my body until, this is weird, the first time I had sex and the guy complimented me on my body. That was probably the very first thing. But then for myself later, it was actually becoming a nude model.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more of
something I've always wanted to do.
Oh, it's so fun.
Do burlesque or something like that. Yeah, just to like have the experience for the body awareness, like just for that exact same reason.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to do that. So I can imagine how that would like
you have to
be super liberating. Yeah.
You have to get more confident with yourself.
Yeah.
So for somebody like that to like gain your sexual confidence, to really like, okay, how do I start to get away from this shame that I have? Look, let's go ahead and start releasing that. So one thing that you're going to do, you're going to, buy yourself a nice piece of lingerie. Something that you feel super sexy in, that if anybody walked up to you and was like, oh, why did you decide to wear that? You can just be like, excuse me, bitch, this is my look. Thank you. Have a nice day. Like, get that outfit, okay? One that'll change your whole personality. Little Miss Introvert done got extroverted on their ass. Like, let's go ahead and do that.
And there's people out there, like there are stylists and stuff, personal stylists that they work with people to help you do that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Like I've got a really good friend of mine, and I can drop her info down below, like shameless plug for her, but she has no idea. But she is amazing at styling.
Okay.
That's just what she does. And so now she's done all the magazines and done all the stuff, and like she wants to do it for people too, to help them change their look, because she went through a personal journey recently that had to do with all this body confidence thing and all of this stuff after becoming a new mom, which I know a lot of people can relate to.
That's good too.
Right? Mm-hmm. So, very interesting that this is also probably, again, reflecting a lot of what people may be thinking about right now. Because we've had a lot of time to spend at home and look at ourselves potentially in the mirror, potentially have a chance to look at ourselves if you've actually done it.
I have so many people telling me like, I got to get rid of this dad bod or this whole thing, whatever I got going on. And I'm like, yo, like, and I always tell people like, I support you. Like, do what you got to do to make yourself feel good. Because that is going to that basically is going to show up in your life where you are. It's going to change the way you interact with your family. It's going to change the way you interact with your friends. Like, you really have to be really like confident in yourself. You got to have that little like, even if it's just like the introverted spice. Listen, introverts got spice. Don't let me.
Classy is sassy. I don't give a damn what anybody says. Okay.
I got all of the spice. All right. Yes. But whether it's even you, like at that point, you'll be able to be like, yo.
Right. I mean, it could be, it's like something simple where you start wearing, it's essentially the idea, and I've kind of gotten into this too, interestingly enough, the idea of adorning your body more in simple ways that when you look at yourself in the mirror, it gives you that feeling that you're talking about.
Yep. Absolutely.
Is that, damn, I do me.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. You'll feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
what's so
even
funny?
if that's just playing with makeup or like, just it,
Adding
Or
earrings.
going to the Macy's and having them do you a makeover, act like you're gonna buy some of their shit, have them do you a makeover and be like, you know what, I'm gonna think about it. Thank you very much. And then you know what, go to the like another Macy's down, like wipe all that shit off, go to another Macy's down, and then have them do you. So you can see, try different looks. Find one that you like.
Right. About to go to Sephora over here. Hold on a second.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Go to Ulta. Yeah, go to all the places. Yeah, try them out. Look at the different looks. I mean, just have fun. Like try to incorporate things, experiences, adornments, you know, that make you feel that, I mean, it's basically the whole queen thing.
I was gonna say, you know, you wanted to say it, that you're the baddest bitch on the planet. Come on, that's basically what it is.
Yes, it's an interesting energy. It's a vibe. It's like owning your divine femininity, no matter what body you're in, because it is all of a reflection of the feminine. If you can self-accept it as that.
True story.
And then if you can self-accept it, then that's when you can shift it. If you're like, if you self-accept it as it is and you go, oh, okay, it's got to be here for a reason. This has got to be how it is for a reason to teach me an awareness level of self-acceptance. Usually it's pretty much always about a self-awareness thing.
Absolutely. It is. I mean, you have to think about how self-aware people were even 5 years ago. Maybe even 2. Let's just be honest. Like 2 years ago. That's when we met. Yeah, about 2 years ago. So let's say 2 years ago. There are people out there who are thinking this. Like they're like, this is, they can feel it, but at the end of the day, they're like, I'm gonna ignore it. It's just a little voice right now.
Right. It's a little voice, and that's like a little too scary, and I'm not ready to be uncomfortable yet.
Yep.
Because like, what if I don't like the look that I try on myself? What if it doesn't make me feel good? Then I've like made a bad decision, and then I don't know how to, you know, and it's like, and we put so much expectation on ourselves for the outcome in a lot of ways that we forget to just play. Like you with the antlers. Like I love it because that's the whole aspect of just bringing in play. This is like why we got a little bit of adult wine night kind of going on right now in the afternoon.
Right? I was gonna say because it's
it's 2:00 in the afternoon.
Okay. Well, you know, some people. It is 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, and not too far away either. So.
Yeah. No, we're in good. We're in good time.
But yeah, I think.
I was gonna say, isn't it like the middle of the night on the other side of the world? So I think we're covered.
Oh, yeah, we're all over the board. You never know.
No problem.
But yeah, adorning yourself. I've been playing with something that are called waist beads, and I've been doing my own little variant of them, particularly for plus size women, in particular ladies who have curves, plus sizes of all sizes, basically curves of all sizes. Because the waist beads that are traditionally that are tie-on work great for ladies that have less of a curve and are more built. There's just different body styles. But the ones that have a bit more give work better for ladies that have curves that basically it's like you know, it just works better. That's how I even say.
Yeah.
So I've been playing with those, and that has really, I've noticed, been like a next level up in me playing around with my look. Trying on old looks, trying on new looks, trying in a combination, see how I want to play with it. Who do I want to look like today? Because you know, it doesn't always have to be the same.
Right.
So it's been an interesting introduction playing with the tradition of waist beads.
Ooh.
In the sense of using it to honor my body, to look at it in the way where I can look at myself in the mirror and go, that is beautiful. Belly, no belly, hips, ass, thigh, like all of it. It's an adornment in a way that we've disconnected from.
Yeah.
That allows women to connect in with their femininity.
Right. Now, speaking of, and kind of like sidetracking, because I don't know how much your people know about you, but obviously we've been friends for the last 2 years.
More than that. More than that.
Has it been? Are you sure? Oh, wait.
Yeah.
2017, right?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
We're going on our 4th year. Bitch, I love you. How about that? I love you.
I know.
Look, I wouldn't be here if you didn't, obviously. Look, and now all your fans know.
We both wouldn't be here if it wasn't mutual, obviously. Okay.
This is true.
Right.
You
Cheers.
So my question is, so when you were doing belly dancing, how did that, did that help out your confidence any?
My God.
I mean, I know that we go through cycles. There's always this particular pattern to what we do in our life. So for you, like right now, you're in the waist beads, which is fucking amazing. The fact that you were like, I want to honor my body, that shit is hot. I'm gonna steal it. Look, I'm gonna steal it.
This is actually a necklace that goes along with one of the styles of waist beads that I made, which is actually the one that you ordered.
I know, I see, it's beautiful.
Because I wanted to do something too where it's like you could have an aspect of what you have hidden underneath that's just for you. You can have a little bit that's on show. It's like a little secret nod to anybody, you know, who knows what they are, what you're doing about it. It's like almost like a little interesting. So I'm just wearing mine because it's all about the energy. There's energy infused into every one of them because there's different collectives. You chose the Blue Avian. So this is a Blue Avian collective infused.
And now I'm jealous because I want.
You shouldn't be jealous because you're getting the waist bead version of it.
I know, but I want that too.
Well, you can get that too.
Right. Look, we're gonna talk about that.
We'll talk about that later. We'll talk. Yeah. Now.
But yeah.
As if I would not at.
Look, I'm excited. Anyways, look.
Getting excited about honoring your body. Don't be mad about that.
Honoring my body.
See that feeling? Did y'all see that feeling real quick?
Wait.
Point that out. Did you see that feeling? Did you feel it? Did that translate through the recording? Because I'm sure it did.
I was gonna say I probably didn't even say any words either. Like it was just like
no, it was a scream. It was an emote. It was like yeah. So that's how you want to feel about playing around and enjoying the way you look.
Absolutely.
That's gonna be what leads you to body confidence. Body confidence leads to in the bedroom confidence, right?
True story. But that was the thing I was going to ask you. Like when you were doing belly dancing, like how?
Oh, yeah, sorry, that was the original question.
For your self-confidence and feeling sexy. Like how did that do that for you?
Well, in my case, how do I say? All of that movement came built in as part of the software.
Okay.
Or the hardware, rather. It came built in. I got into the SCA, which is the Society for Creative Anachronism, which is a reenactment, group that get together and do all kinds of awesome stuff. Like,
okay.
Anyway, check it out. And they had classes that they did with some of the ladies there that knew it.
Oh.
That were also instructors on the side. I mean, like that was their job, was to be dance instructors. So they were in this thing, and so they'd come and like do dance class and Monday nights in the park once a month or something, right? With
nice.
And so that was the first time when I realized that was built in for real. Because every move we do was supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was convinced that I had classes before, which I had not. So in that case, now later on in life, looking back on it, because at first I didn't want to own it.
Okay.
Because for me to own it at that moment would have been, at the time, to my belief system, showing off and being too proud.
Okay.
About an innate skill that not everybody has. So you can't show off. You don't want to make everybody feel bad. So there was like that I didn't want to own it. I didn't want to accept it. Like, it's part of my body. Oof, I'm even feeling nasty about it right now. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And only later on, because I've gone back to it several times across, during the timeline.
Of course.
And now using it in the like body awareness, sacred dance, sort of connecting to the higher frequency with music, integrating it with your body, using the belly beads too, because normally when you dance, you have some sort of reflective surface to reflect yourself back at you so you can practice your moves and be able to see how they look and get better at, maneuvering them on your body.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows when you dance, when you're practicing. Like it's all part of that whole experience that we're talking about of me kind of going out of my way to do things and adorn myself in a way that may not be traditionally traditional for somebody like me,
Mm-hmm.
like physically, we'll say,
Ridiculous.
right?
Ridiculous.
Without naming like definitive monikers,
Right.
right? But it's like, something that's a little non-traditional potentially for some people's belief system on that side. But if you take it at the spiritual intention that it was at originally, regardless of labels, societal labels,
Right.
you can utilize it as a tool. And so I've been playing around with that, and that has really been transforming the whole way I feel about my own body and my own body in relation to Frank and my own body in relation to wherever I am. Sitting, standing, it's like aware of my posture.
Mm-hmm.
Just it kind of, and then like you said, it emanates out. So it's like another bump out of you making your bubble bigger,
Mm-hmm.
your energy field bigger.
Yep.
Affecting your reality more, accepting yourself more.
Mm-hmm.
It's all. So that's what it did.
Very
So
true.
that I was able to utilize belly dance as a tool
That's awesome.
to play with that.
That is awesome. And that's what I wanted to really get into is that a lot of people think that there's only one way to release energy.
Mm-hmm.
And let us just tell you that there are multiple.
Yep.
Some people
You do
are.
pole.
I do pole.
Yeah, I love your pole.
It
sounded bad phrasing. But yeah, I mean, you do great. I love it.
And I mean, it really is one of those.
That's
like
one of the things I want to try too. Whenever I come up into your town, we gotta go rent the studio for a minute.
Well,
go play.
We could do that. We can totally do that.
Yeah.
But I'm getting back into it. Not right now though, because
I know. Yeah, you had your surgery.
Like I have people who would kill me after my surgery. But for the most part, like I danced around it the other night. I needed to feel the pole in my hands. Like that's
yeah.
And the twirls and blocks and stuff. Yeah. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. But that's one of the reasons why I brought that up into like the self-confidence talk, because
dance is a huge self-confidence booster.
It is. I had somebody, I went to a show yesterday and I had somebody literally, they told me they were a bodybuilder. They were like, well, if you ever need classes, like, let me know. And I said, well, right now I'm not doing anything. I said, but I can't wait because I need to get back into pole fitness. And she kind of looked at me. She was like, wait, what? And it's like one of those things where people are like, oh, well, it's only for strippers.
Incorrect.
Ladies of the night or whatever the hell, right?
Incorrect.
It's not. Pole fitness is for everybody. Like literally when I actually bought a pass, like a 5-class pass.
Oh.
On Groupon, right? And I was like, oh, let me go ahead and try this. So my first class, I took like a regular pole class, like a beginner. And then my second class, I actually went and did an exotic pole class. It was called Pole Passion. And she like had a whole thing, like a whole little dance for us to do and like everything like she was going to teach us. Well, I actually went into that class. I was the only person there. So it was just me and the instructor.
Oh, so you got a free one-on-one class. I mean, not like free, but like you got a one-on-one. Yeah. Awesome.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Which is cool. Because you kind of have to think of your confidence that way. Like your confidence, like you building your confidence is like a one-person class. Like you now, as your person now,
you are your own instructor and your own student.
Yep. You basically have to go through this point where you're like, okay, I am the older me. What do I want me now to look like?
Right. And then you can use other people as like signposts in a sense where it's like, okay, I kind of like this as an example of what I might like to strive towards as an example. It doesn't have to be exactly like that, but it's like you can use
a little close, just a little close.
Yeah,
right?
it's like you can use people as inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's what a lot of the coaches and everybody, you know, they'll tell you to do is find an inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's kind of what it's like. If you're shooting for that, if you have something that you're quote unquote sort of shooting towards, for a lot of people that helps to have a goalpost in a sense where it's like if you feel like seeing that reflected back at yourself helps, then it helps. Sometimes it can be a hindrance though, because then you can turn that into way too much of an expectation.
That's true.
It's an interesting tool to play with.
It's funny because you know what? Oftentimes, I'm sure, I don't know if you have to do this. Look, I shouldn't assume. If you have to do this, like sometimes you have to gauge like your goals about yourself, like in general, whether they be mental, spiritual, like, you know, oh, I want to do a coach this year or whatever the hell. You have this like goal that you want to reach, and then somebody else is like, they're like right above you.
Yeah.
And then like that's too much above your like your personal meter. Like, let's just be real, we all have limits. So that's above my personal limit.
Right.
No matter what, I'm still going to get to that point. But what you can't get caught up is the dissatisfaction that you have when you end up at the point that you really wanted to be at anyway. But because you saw this other person doing it, you were like, oh wait, no, I totally want that. This kind of helps you keep you in check. Like, because then after you look at it and you're like, oh, wait a second. But I did this way more than what I did before. I'm above the point where I thought I could, like, should have been. Then you'll be like, oh, wait a second. That's when you have to step back and you have to celebrate. Because why are you going to give yourself, like, you're not giving yourself any type of, hey, you actually did a thing.
Right. Yeah. A lot of times we get caught up in the fact that we didn't get there exactly the same way as the example, or that it doesn't seem like it's working out the same way as the example, and therefore we can't get to that goal that is the example.
Yep.
We beat ourselves up and like get into that, and so like that can be a huge thing. So it's an interesting game to play. It can be good, like you said. Even with this stuff, it can be good. Everything serves double duty. It can be a positive thing, or it can be a separative thing. It's like even self-separating when you like do that and you bring in shame and expectations and beating yourself up, like you're literally separating yourself from yourself because you're saying you hate a part of yourself for some reason.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, right? All these paradoxes about living.
But you know what? Within all the stuff that we do, think about it. We actually start to bring that back and start to deal with that and start to work with it and knead it into what we wanted it to be in the first place.
Yeah. So ultimately we'll get there.
Yeah.
If we pay attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to beat ourselves up about it, whether we got there today, yesterday, tomorrow.
Yep.
Like, because we'll get there if we pay attention to it instead of worrying about when we'll get there. Which is, I know, a big thing for me, especially if you're working on, for instance, like weight goals or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything, you know, having to do with body image, talking about, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm starting to think that I'm terrible at relationships. Like, at one point, I thought I was going to be a relationship coach, and then I realized, like, that is probably a terrible idea. That is terrible.
Sometimes you have to pivot. Yeah, you have to keep self-assessing and seeing what it is that works for you. Yep.
Exactly. It's like you can't. This is what I'll say. Like, my whole life, when it comes to like career goals and like job security and all the other stuff, look, all the stuff these people will be talking about at this point. You really have to kind of look at it and go, okay, this was the path. Something happened and now I'm over here. Like, I think that people don't realize like there's so much movement within our lives, like no matter what the heck is going on, that we're not going to be, I will tell you this. I wanted to be an OBGYN when I was 8. I wanted to be an OBGYN since I was 8.
Right.
Right? I am now 34. I am a full-time paralegal, which, by the way, love my freaking job. It very much speaks to my type A, very much speaks to my gotta be with my OCD, all that jazz, right?
It very much does, yes.
It's great. But then I'm a trauma release guide, and I am somebody who tells women that, hey, sex is okay.
Right.
You can have sex, right?
Right.
I'm a sexual health coach. Like, literally,
it's okay to like yourself and like how your body feels when you do stuff to it.
Right. It's okay. Look, and this is the bad relationship advice. Are you ready for the bad relationship advice? This is that I looked the bomb and my boyfriend didn't look at me like he was supposed to. So now he got to go. Like, that's it. That's why I don't do that's why I realized, like, relationships not for me.
Nope.
I will drop you like a bad, don't do it.
Right. But hey, that's a self-reflection where you go, oh, look, I can check where I'm at.
Yep.
See where I'm at, know where I'm at, own that shit, and be like, okay, well, what do I want to do anything about this or not right now? Well, if I don't, that's okay too, because eventually, wherever I feel like I want to go, I'll get there anyway.
Exactly.
It's a very interesting way to try and get your way of being to work, because we are so taught to need to know all aspects of everything, before we make a move, right? And B, to give ourselves permission to just let stuff flow and happen, instead of having to schedule the shit out of our lives and always be doing something and always be busy.
Yeah. Listen, Danielle.
I've been there. I've done it.
Okay. What did I say? I said, stop talking to my spirit guides, bro. Stop it.
I'm just going to sit over here like Kermit, like ain't none of my business.
Look, drinking your wine. Because he usually drinks tea. Because look, Kermit is kind of classy with a K. Because obviously, right?
I'm super classy.
This is why I love you. Because you are classy. Like, seriously. First of all, this wine sip.
Selectively classy.
I mean, we don't want to be classy all the time. We got life to live.
It's my thistle wine glass.
I love it.
Frank got it for me.
Oh, it's cute.
Yeah, I love it. It's like my special wine glass. Like whenever I do my baths and when I have a nice glass of wine, soak in the tub. This is like my self-care, having a glass of wine.
I like it.
Not my partying, having a glass of wine. It's very different energy that goes along with this cup.
See, I wish I think other than this, like I got this. Sometimes I do fill this up with wine and then go sit next to my bathtub. Or not next to my bathtub. I sit in the bathtub. My cup sits next to the bathtub, right? This will be the cup. Plus it has, plus I'm like a big kid, so it has like a sippy thing.
Look at you with your sippy cup lid on your wine.
Right?
I love and hate you at the same time. You know that, right? I'm just saying. I love the cup, but the sippy cup thing, I'm like, I love and hate you at the same time.
You know what's
look at my ass over here, right? With the water.
I'm actually surprised when we first started talking, like I didn't even show you the sippy cup part. Like,
nope.
Look, because let's just face it, like once you get to drinking, you get to acting up, doing something stupid.
You're not wrong.
I was good up until, I don't know what happened. They moved their glass and I was like, yo, you should have
kept any of your stories start like that. I don't know what happened. Look, you go like, Daniella, look, I don't know what happened, but
it was somebody else, I swear. It was them.
Not even that. It's just look, Daniella, I don't even know what happened, but that's
the serious face. But for real though.
But I don't even know what happened, but this is what happened. That's always you.
Oh, because that is definitely me. Like, this is what happened. Let me time out. I'm going to explain it to you.
Hold on, time out. Yeah. And then the other one is let me go ahead. Daniella, let me go ahead and or I'm just gonna go ahead and no, I love it though.
So like real talk.
And I find myself saying it too, because talking about the thing where you hang out with each other too much, you start to be each other's energy, so you adopt each other's mannerisms unintentionally, like you chameleon one another. And so I find myself saying,
you know what? The funny thing is, again, in my life,
I never had said it before I met you, ever in my life. Swear to God.
Literally, get out of my life. So I've literally been saying this phrase for whatever, right? To the point where my partner said, she was like, so these are the things that you often say. And I was like, wait, what? So one day I had to like sit back and I'm like, I don't think this is mine. Whose is this? And I literally found who's saying it was. Like, it wasn't mine. It's literally, I adopted it from somebody who I hang out with all the time, who I talk to just about every day. Like, and seriously, like, you literally start to take those little pieces and you don't even fucking know.
And I picked it from you.
See, look, you picked it up from me. I picked this freaking phrase up from somebody else. Because she always says it. So, like, literally, it got to the point where our partner was like, you always say that. And I was like, wait, whoa. What are you talking about?
Interesting, right?
And she's like, yeah, no, like, you always say, damn. And at this point, I can't even remember the freaking phrase. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you understand what I'm saying. I have a friend who says that if you kind of get where I'm going with this, right? She always says that.
Yeah.
And I totally freaking adopted it from her. So now I say it without even thinking about it. And maybe like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I was like, oh, this is where I picked that up from. That's not even mine.
Yep.
It's cool.
I've noticed I've done that since high school.
Oh.
I was able to really actually notice it starting in high school, but I'm sure it started earlier. But girl, we have been, God only knows. You know that timer went off probably like,
oh shit. Look.
Yeah, a minute ago.
Like literally just 1 minute?
No.
Oh, you mean like a minute?
a hot minute.
Oh snap! That's like a telephone conversation. Is really what happened.
I know it's gotten it's you're getting to see real talk for sure.
I was gonna say
before we real talk you to death.
No, we're not gonna do that anymore. We're so sorry.
Let me stop myself.
But you know what?
There you go. See, we got to do the whole idea of the higher perspectives, alternate state of consciousness, viewer questions, holiday special.
I feel like
get a little carried away and enjoy ourselves.
I feel like what people should know is like sometimes it's not just a 5-minute conversation. Like sometimes it's not just a 2-hour conversation. Like I think people don't realize like the reason you chose the people you chose. Like we literally, it's the reason we have to have a timer, people, is because we can't control ourselves. Basically.
Yeah.
And what's funny is Dylus, I don't know if she knows this, and she probably does, but she probably shouldn't have left this stuff. Like she probably shouldn't have did it. Because here
watch this and be like,
they're gonna be like,
oh, she's gonna love it. She's gonna love it. She's gonna love it.
So long.
I know. You're gonna love it.
Everybody
I might trim it down. I don't know.
No, it's fine. Look, I feel like you're gonna find a lot of good nuggets. So either way,
oh yeah, there are.
If you let them, whether it goes whatever, they're gonna be like, oh, we got some good info.
Hopefully so.
No, I think so.
Well, from all of us here, I was gonna say from all of us here. So I guess us and our spirit guides and higher selves. From all of us here at Galactic Explorers, we'd like to thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you
for joining us for this episode. No, but honestly, thank you for joining us. It was a crazy ride, and hopefully you enjoyed it and got a little something out of it. Like, subscribe, throw down any comments, questions, topics you'd like for us to cover in the future. We're coming up into 2021 and a lot of crazy things are going on. So we love doing these viewer questions ones. So throw it out there to us. We love hearing from you guys. Like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. And thank you so much for following us down on the ride.
Yeah.
So yes, from Tay and I, we will see you next time. Yeah, happy holidays, happy new year. We will be coming out with Dallas and I are coming out with a vision journal, vision board, DIY for the new year, because I like to vision journal and she likes to vision board. So we're going to show you the difference and how we do those little things, like talking about maybe manifesting, law of attraction kind of stuff, how that actually works versus how it translates, how they teach it, it works. So that might be an interesting episode for y'all to catch out. Coming up next. So thanks for chilling with us. From Daniella and Miss Tay and Miss Dallas on vacation. We love you. We'll see you next time.
Absolutely.